welcome to the Historical Commission meeting, March 6th, 2025. It's now 5:30. We'll start with a roll call of commissioners. My name is Al Nerdy, President. Walter Crowe, President. Commissioner Judith Crowe is absent. Commissioner Zorley.
Present.
You. Vincent Walsh, not yet. Commissioner Nestor. So we are a commission that goes to the quorum for something to pass. There needs to be at least 4 of us here who can vote. And we hope that Commissioner Vincent Walsh would meet us online. Hopefully, he will be here or not. So this is a pretty full agenda, as you can see. So bear with us and thank you for your patience in advance. We have a property where the request was withdrawn, but before we do that, we have a acceptance of the minutes from the February 6th meeting. So moved. Okay, has anyone had the opportunity to read it? Yes, we have the motion on the floor. Second. Then we have a second. Thank you. All those in favor of accepting the minutes? Anyone an objection?
We do have Commissioner Rock. Read that in the record.
Oh, Commissioner, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
To be here. We'll log you in as chair virtually. We're just voting on the acceptance of the meetings, February 6th meeting. And we're assuming you've had the time to look at it and your vote to accept.
Accept.
Thank you. The minutes have been accepted. Right, so public hearing. We have one public hearing for property that was requesting replacement of their front door, but because they decided to use a storm door in lieu of that door, they've withdrawn their application, and that was for 144 Buckingham Street. A certificate of non-applicability was issued.
That's correct.
Thank you very much. So our first public hearing, which is a new hearing, is for 3 Clarendon Street. Someone here representing 3 Clarendon. We have a letter of authorization from the owner stating that William Brock, who will be speaking on behalf of the owner to the Historic Commission.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Will Brock. I'm the Senior Program Manager for the Office of Housing. We're to propose new siding for Clarendon Street. We have a environmental inspection report stating that the existing siding is asbestos, and we'd be looking to abate that siding by wrapping the new vinyl siding.
For the people in the audience, I'll just read the request. Proposed change of replacement of existing asbestos siding with new vinyl siding to match existing historical aesthetic. Justification for the certificate of hardship is the positive results for the asbestos environmental hazard. So why don't you give us just a little brief as to
Yeah, so I mean, the siding throughout the property was tested positive for asbestos by ATC environmental. This was the last portion of a previous application that was submitted at the end of last year for, multiple renovations on the property. So this would be the last portion of it we get approved before we begin the project in the spring here.
So the new siding that you're planning I may ask, if you replicate somewhat by what you see in the historical photograph. Trim and flatwood.
That would, that's absolutely the, the goal is to recreate the same, existing aesthetic as the original color from.
Okay, so what about these panels that have no flatwood?
Which one are you talking?
With
So these clapboards are here, those would honestly, those would end up being the, same style siding as we go throughout the season.
so instead of a panel and that.
So instead of a panel,
The flatwood side.
yeah, yep.
Any change to the porch trim or?
There would be no change to the porch trim. Those elements of the project actually were approved in the previous
So
application.
it's just the siding.
Yeah, so it's just the siding that we were looking at, the hardship as we discussed, the previous application, we're waiting on that inspection report to be. So,
Do we have any questions from the commission?
Usually replace any of the rotting boards that are pictured here.
so we called to replace rotting boards as needed, and to recreate, reframe as, so in this particular, with the asbestos fade, would be looking to wrap it. The contractor would make a judgment, at the time of the construction on whether any additional, work was needed. If it was, then it would be something that would need to come in front of the commission.
You said you were wrapping it. Are you removing the asbestos siding or are you just putting the new siding on?
So we would put the new setting on top of it as the general practice for abatement for asbestos. As far as I'm aware, I don't personally hold a license.
Yeah, that's.
So with any application, especially with this, there would be a simple spec, what the manufacturer is. And see that in the application.
I sent that over to Andrew earlier this week.
It was 40 something pages, so I have one copy here and an individual.
40 something pages, that's impressive. Wow. So is there,
So it was more just the manufacturer, the contractor supplied me with that input for the siding that he's going to purchase for materials, just so you guys can get a idea of the aesthetic for the materials that we're going to be purchasing. So as we've discussed, we're looking to recreate that same clapboard aesthetic that is from the previous historical photos.
so is there one that you've chosen? This looks like all the different options from.
This, once again, this is to approve the funding in order to supply the homeowner with funding for this practice. The means and methods are the responsibility of the contractor.
Sure, but for us, you have to pick a horse in order for us to evaluate what it is, so there has to be.
And if you guys want to dictate which one of these materials we have to use, then I'm fine to, I'm fine with that approval. But once again, I can't dictate that, so.
Seems to me that the majority of what they offer is this wood grain texture.
Yeah.
Right? See
That's
that?
what it looks like. It's just a matter of whether it's, double 4 inch, double 5 inch, double 8 inch.
Well, looking at the.
This looks like soft.
This looks like a relatively old photograph, looks like a relatively tight, maybe 4 inch.
4 inch.
Yeah. Is there a 4 inch?
Yeah. This is double 4.
So it's two pieces that. That's 4 inches to the wood. It's an 8 inch piece.
4
What's
inches.
to the wood?
The 4 inch Dutch lap. So I think.
So it is the double 4 inch clapboard.
Bill, do you think that the based on what's there, you think the 4 inch is what's on the,
Yeah, and in general, anything, like that with 4 inch or 5 inch, we would ask the contractor to, match, what would be existing based on the photographs or what's existing on the property already. From, the discussion that we're having here, it sounds like 4 inches is the consensus.
Let's see if we can. Any other questions from the commission?
Can we just, when we get to the motion, just note what page you're referencing? That's all.
so this one is, yeah, it's the Premier Home Exterior, page 11 is the number that we're looking at. Vinny, what we're looking at is what they provided. It's, I'm sure Andrew will.
No, it's on my screen. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So I guess if it's screen. I'll just say,
My question is just, unless I missed it a few minutes ago, was corner board sizes and things like that, and window framing. As opposed to when vinyl siding's very often used, they usually just go right up to the edge of the window or the corner board. They use like a 3 inch that's the same color. I know you can get wider if you, I would prefer wider. And is it gonna be any attempt to match that those historical details on the property? Like the framing on the windows, the corner boards, you know what I'm talking about.
I asked that question, Commissioner, a few moments ago. The answer was that they plan to match the sizes and the detail on the existing historical photograph, except where the solid panels are around the window on that 45-degree piece that juts out of the corner of the house. But instead of solid panels, they would use quadboard in lieu of that.
Okay. I just had an audio issue for a couple minutes, so I wasn't quite sure, but if you are satisfied with that answer, then so am I.
For us, that would be a scope of work change to add the exterior trim aesthetic, and that's generally something that the program can't cover, is something that's just for aesthetic value and doesn't serve any code or human habitation purpose.
May I say something here, Commissioner? I mean,
Yes.
Chair, yeah, this is all about aesthetics.
Yes.
We do.
So as I'm saying, just with the original photos, there's no trim or anything to it. Is what I mean by that would be a scope change, and it would be. I mean, I would have to bring that to my director. That would be something that we wouldn't normally be able to cover in this program. So.
So I guess you're saying something different.
I just don't have a direct answer for you on a yes or no on that one. I need to, confer with somebody to make sure that federal funding wise, we're not improperly funding something that would eventually, the outcome for that would be a finding from the federal government. The homeowner have to pay money back from the federal government.
Right. So
Through the
we
program.
postpone if we can do that.
Yes.
So we can still have a public hearing for public expression. Yeah. Okay.
one other question I had was just on the soffit. I know it's not, you can't see it everywhere, but did you pick a soffit style?
We did not pick a soffit style. Once again, that would be up to the contractor to match, the photographs as they stand.
Okay.
Well, that's something to come back with us when we do.
I mean, the one that, to me anyway, that closely models the wood would be something.
What's it called?
It's a 12-inch T4 solid soffit, vertical sign.
And at this point, I have the selected contractor too, so we'll work on for the next meeting, to bring the contractor in with me as well to answer some of these questions.
You guys agree?
Yeah, that's
Looks like the wood soffit overhangs. This clearly wouldn't, this would look almost like wood.
Okay, we're not.
20.
Anything else, Commissioner, before opening up to the general counsel? So this is a public hearing. I can open up to the public to hear your concerns, whether or not you approve or disapprove of this request for a hardship to replace the asbestos siding with the new, as you can just hear. Anyone in favor? Or not? There's no one offering any commentary, we'll bring it back to the commission. So what I'm hearing is that you're asking to postpone until the next meeting. You can come to us with those answers,
Yep, absolutely.
specifically the trim,
And trim,
soffits, corner boards, window trim,
window boards, and then especially
and the materials that were just found. Very good.
thanks, commissioners.
Make a
Yeah,
motion.
So can we have a motion to postpone this vote?
So we continue.
Motion to continue.
I'm sorry, to continue. Thank you. All those in favor?
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Okay, so next public hearing on the agenda is 108 School Street. Is there someone here representing 108 School Street? Please come on down. Nothing wrong there. Come on down. So we have a letter of authorization authorizing Convenio Media.
Yeah.
Thank you. City Health represents the owner,
Yes.
Angelina Martin. Any address for the record?
Name and address?
Yes.
Angelina Martin, 108 Spring Street.
Your name and vote residential address.
With Union Media, our frequencies and folks.
Thank you. Right, so to start, let me just read this application. This is an application requesting a certificate of hardship. The proposed change, replace 3 wood windows in the basement. Replace with an increased height, 3 windows in the basement, total of 6 windows. Please see the attached document. So as we're looking at that, what would you like to tell us?
There was plywood when we bought the house, it was plywood windows and rodents and that's what are coming in the house, so that's what we kind of asked for us.
Were you replacing them with? Double hung windows?
Yeah.
Vinyl material?
If we can, there's, people are having trouble hearing, so if we can speak up when we talk, that way people are. Thank you.
Thank you. So do you have these photographs? That you can see that?
Yeah.
So you removed the plywood that was covering it? and what you
Yeah.
Found was single sash under what they were not out with.
That's the one you stuff like that friendly.
Right, but no glass.
Yes.
Like that.
Based on.
That's your eyes first. Don't see any pictures or examples of like new windows. Do you have anything like that?
I did pull one on the window, but that one was getting to, and but I think the picture, you guys can see if you guys doesn't like it, but we open to the.
Do you have a picture?
Is this a picture of what existed there or what you were planning to
What
do?
I'm planning to.
Yeah.
I'm open to you guys.
The bottom is-
They would want to go
Mhm.
and they block the outside.
Oh,
Where are the windows located?
They're on the one on the left, one on the back side, two on the right side. And there are two on the left, but I'll to you guys also do the permanent on there.
Are you able to send this to Andrew so we can have it for the record?
Yes.
Thank you.
so Commissioner Walsh, which they're showing us is a window that's a double hung window with 6/6 buttons
Some kind of pillar
filling the entire opening.
in black.
Black, green, and buttons. Any other questions from the commission? So this is a color vinyl exterior window.
So you have a Pella in now, but what you have here is a Northwind. Is it still Pella and Northwind is the actual style of window? Is there a difference? They're a different maker? Manufacturer?
No, the same, it should not be.
It's the same window that's double,
No, it's in the same. Yes.
they're the same window as what he showed in the picture.
Okay, so the one you've installed, the Pella window is a Pella North.
Yes,
It's still Pella, it's still the same,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the same type of window.
yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Other questions, Commissioner? One of my concerns as as an architect is when I'm seeing these windows in this opening, it's very close to the ground. So you plan to lower the ground a little bit?
Yes, that one is low, the other one is like 3 feet high from the other side. Yeah, and the one in the back too. So they're very.
Because could be more room for snow to sit up.
Yes.
The window. Yeah.
That one can be more room anyways, I just put it.
You temporarily fill the holes.
Yes.
Understand. Other questions? Commissioner Walsh, any questions?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. So let me open this up to the public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience interested in offering that they are for or against this request for certificate of hardship for 108 School Street? Yes, please.
I'm Harry Seymour, I live at 68 Washington Road, and I want to speak in favor of it.
Okay, thank you, Harry. Is there anyone else in favor or against? If there's no one else, we'll close the public hearing. Bring it back to the commission. Further questions or any commissioner want to offer a motion?
I made a motion that we support the application to replace the 3 windows in the basement along with the 3 increased height windows in the basement for a total of 6 windows with the Pella Northwind double hung 6/6 in black as presented by the petitioner.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion or details to discuss regarding the motion?
I just want to confirm again, so Northwind, when I just look up in Google, it says National Vinyl. But I don't see anything that says Pella Northwind. So as long as what we're proposing is the Pella window you presented, that the model is the Northwind with the 6/6. So if that's different than what you do, then you'll have to come back. But that's what we're presenting. So as long as that's what it is, and you guys are, confirming that, then I'm just confirm that now before we. All right.
All right, so I'll take a vote of the commission, please. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Zorzi,
Yes.
thank you. Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Nestor,
Yes.
and Commissioner Nardi is yes. Okay, so it passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lovely project. See you
You
guys.
know what happened, when you guys did it.
Thank you. Nice meeting you. This is a big company.
I'm gonna, you know,
Thank you. We're gonna move along to 50 Riverview Terrace. Someone there? Please come down. You have a letter of authorization, authorizing rear collar and employees to represent this request from Fatima. Oh, okay.
Leave address for the record, please.
You are the speaking.
Okay, it's okay.
Um,
50, are you at 50 Riverview Terrace?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Daryl Donovan, representing from Green Collar, in your residential, 19 William Street, Urban Street.
So before you give us your thoughts about this project, I'll just read this for the public. For 50 Riverview Terrace, the proposed change requesting certificate of hardship is to replace all single pane windows in the home with triple pane, low refractory, 0.23 or better window. The existing window size to match the replacement, no structural changes proposed. Justification, the homeowner has unreasonable utility costs to heat and cool the home. Homeowner is financially unable to fund the project costs on their own. They qualified for income-based window replacement program based on income limitation and economic hardship. So what it was about the window and.
So on this project here, we're proposing using the National Light of Window, and you have to stand to look at it. So the window would be the National Light of Window Ring Series with desert sand color. External grids. The one thing that we can't do with this window due to the energy rating that we need is we cannot have grids on the bottom due to the fact that the glass sticks out and they would rub.
Is it possible to get it up so we can?
Yeah, the bottom of the window.
Yeah, I just didn't want to.
So what were you saying that again, what you can?
So the way that the external grids work, we can't put them externally on the bottom side.
So
Because it tips out to be clean, so.
So when the window passes, because it's triple pane, the thickness of it won't allow the two windows to pass across each other.
So what your,
So the,
question is just 4/1.
depending on the windows, this is just a sample, but the specs actually will show the grid pattern. So some of them are 6/1, I think they put some 8/1s on there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, depending on the. Yeah. The sample is more for the color. And type of-
Can you please spin that around? Yes, you can see what the front, the bottom, it's all looks like. So that bottom, that's the whole window that you're gonna see sitting on the stall.
This will not be sitting on the sill, this will actually be recessed, so the black part is not part of the actual window, it's just the frame. So this would be sitting at about 1 inch. This would be sitting below the school.
So what'll actually be exposed? What will you see at that bottom panel?
You're gonna take off probably about 1 inch right here.
You'll see about a half of it.
You'll see about that.
Okay.
This is the interior side.
Correct.
Yeah.
Can you possibly put up a photograph of the existing house? Thank you for doing that. Yep. It's a little difficult to see what we have for for muttons on the existing windows in these, so there are muttons on all the lower sash. Correct. So that's the main difference. If the upper sash muttons would be the same, the lower sash would only be similar.
Yep. The other option, the reason that we showed you that sample is we've been told that the requirements are there externally from the glass. We are able to put it in between the glass. If that's an option.
Typically not.
Correct.
I mean, we're all trying to emulate what was originally there, right? Which is
Right.
external.
Yeah.
So,
With the storm windows remain.
No, they would not. With the vinyl windows, you can't have a storm window on. Because it would trap the heat in and distort the vinyl and. Seal here.
Other questions from the commission?
and the color is desert sand, is
Correct.
that desert sand?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So it actually kind of matched those stucco around the building, right?
Commissioner Walsh, questions?
No questions.
Thank you.
Just, actually, just maybe there is. I'm just. This is the second time we've had somebody tell us that you can't put external mullions on any on these triple pane windows. But I thought the last person, unless this is the same guy, said that was able to find an alternate. But that's all my question is.
There was an alternate window.
There's a manufacturer that offers triple pane
Our
glass for the external mullions.
Yeah, our manufacturer does not offer that.
I do have a moderate concern about that.
Other questions from the commission? Not, I'll bring it out to the public for commentary. Is there anyone here in favor or not in favor of this request for a certificate of hardship at 50 Riverview Terrace? No one? Okay, I'll bring it back to the commission. Further questions, discussion? Or motion?
Andrew, can you see in front of the house again? Main Street.
The windows up in those eyebrow sections up in the roof, they will have buttons that we are sitting like this.
Correct.
So they'll have to sit 3 over 3 there.
Correct.
I'm sorry, so the top windows are gonna be 3/1,
3 over 3.
No,
Three over three on the bottom.
so they would be exactly the same.
Correct.
And they would be open ups, or would they be a double one?
There we go.
Okay, because you couldn't, that's why I'm confused, you couldn't do it
No,
double
we
one,
can't.
right? So it couldn't be 3/3 with a double.
Correct. We
Okay.
couldn't do a double one.
Yep. All right, makes sense, that's what else, my brain was strong.
We just have a comment made more for the commission, but normally we wouldn't accept a lighter color like that. Or
That's probably true, but if we go back to the
Picture.
the photo again.
This is the existing, right?
Yeah.
Let me see. It's kind of,
Oh, no,
This sure does not. look like.
no.
It looks lighter.
Yep,
Yeah, and I would have guessed with the stuff with the blue.
yeah, okay.
Any further discussion or motion?
If, I just wondered if you, since you can do that swinging out. Can you do some window like that below? So you'd have the 6? Or with 3 or,
Yeah, that is an option,
it would change the center, so it would not.
right, we wouldn't have any meeting around the center, which dramatically change the.
Yeah, that would be too much.
So I know Commissioner Wells brought it up, that the homeowner, have you guys looked at another manufacturer that actually has the 3/3 with the triple pane exterior mullions, because there is somebody that makes it.
Yeah.
We had somebody here that made it.
Yeah, they do make them.
Yeah.
It becomes cost prohibitive is the issue that we have.
We got a company come over and take measurements and give all samples.
Yeah.
And they gave us 120 grand.
Wow.
A good number. You can only ask for your name and residential address for the record.
Today, and they want to give them a good chance.
So that window, there are a couple basement windows on this project. So it'd be more similar to that. If we did not. It's all the windows, especially the ones that are in these.
What's the total number?
Total one was 56. These are, the basement on that. But very odd.
Yeah.
We have to go to the cabin here.
Say architecturally, the more I look at the existing front of this house, I normally would be somewhat taken back without the buttons on the lower sash. But as I look at this, I just don't. Because there's enough buttons on the upper windows up on the roof and the upper sash that still works for me. Even though normally I would not like the lower sash to be a single pane. If the windows were different on top, it would not work. You need that detail on top. That's just your thought.
The other thing as well, again, I realize that typically you wouldn't do it in between the glass. In the situation here, we do a half screen on the windows. So there'd also, you'd be looking through the screen as well.
Something similar to.
But we could, correct. But we could have in between the glass.
Well, this will have the screen, so that's kind of the other thing that you're still gonna have the buttons and the lower sash, which although it'll be clear, you're gonna have a black screen. Right, which is kind of some of what you have today, it kind of disguises, because we couldn't quite tell on the lower sash if it had grids,
Yeah, because
because you had to look, right?
Yeah.
So it would darken it a little bit. So it would not be as pronounced.
It's apparent. Okay, so I'm still looking for a motion from the commissioner. Benny? Or do you feel like you need a site visit? Or-
Well, I'm just, this is one of the things we've been holding tight to for a long time, external and historically accurate. We've made a lot of people do it. So I'm not sure where the line is here. I just heard your logic relative to the upper part of the house, and there's something to that. But in between, I'd rather have nothing than something in between, historically speaking. But I'm very unsure of just all of a sudden, we're not going to require external grid patterns. That's all.
Very hard for me to see the condition of the window, just when I have the good.
In with our pictures, I do have several pictures. Most of the windows, the bolts are broken on them. Couple of windows on the driveway side of the house, they actually don't close anymore. The hardware is not in good shape and not allowing windows to close. Like there's a broken sash from on that one. The meeting rails, you just missing walk. A lot of them, the meeting rails don't meet up, which is not allowing windows to lock.
Maintenance issues. Not necessarily placement. Being carried, I'm sorry, I was saying, I can see a few possible sacks that need to be replaced, but I see a lot of maintenance issues.
These windows here on the front of the house, the meeting rails are missing by about 3/8 of an inch. That's they're not able to be completely closed.
We looked into, the homeowner looked into the fixing existing windows.
The upper ones, they're not fixable. There's the inch that open the windows,
Types of,
look around it, broken right away.
Mhm.
So
I would imagine, because they did open up.
yeah,
Yeah, they took the weather.
most of them don't open.
Yeah, so
It's
it's
a
a
weather
weather.
difference. I don't think.
Okay, so can I get a motion whether or not you wanted to vote in favor, but can I get a motion on the table to get some type of vote?
It was,
Yes, please.
she's paying 2,400 and she got a disabled child. His loans always going.
I understand that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
unfortunately, I'm really unable, my computer volume is up full blast and I'm not hearing most of what's going on.
okay.
Um, But-
What was just said was that the homeowner has a disabled child who's spending over $2,000 a month on heating. And that's the reason for feeling like they need to replace the windows. It's causing some of their heat loss.
Um, obviously, some of them have already been replaced, I see. And some of the other ones look like repair was a sure possibility. But I don't know, we'll just have to vote, I guess.
But yeah, the homeowner also made note that it was the upper windows that really need replacement and are not repairable, the ones that are hinged to the exterior.
You mean, what would be the third floor of those?
Yeah.
Right there,
The eyebrow types, yeah.
yeah. And what was the proposed replacement for that?
To match the mutton six, was it 606?
Six, yeah, but it'd be an open out,
Correct.
as they are today, it would be an open out
Okay, but, okay,
grids.
okay.
Maybe, so you understand that once we vote, if we vote for it, you can go ahead and do this. If we vote against it, am I correct? That they would have to bring another proposal back to us for another 2. Whenever we could schedule it.
Correct.
So, or you could amend this one in some way, if you would like to.
Well, I think what she's saying is you could request that we don't vote. Give you some time to decide whether you want to amend the application or whatever.
We've been really trying for the past 6-7 months. Before to get the windows done. So.
No guarantee what the vote is.
Okay.
But if the vote goes against it, you can't do it.
You can't do what you propose, but you can come back with
Another proposal.
At least can we know the changes we have to do?
So, people are gonna be hearing why the vote.
And for clarification for scheduling purposes, if they vote no, the next time I can get you on the agenda isn't until April 3rd. But if we continue, we can at least amend and come back on March 20th. 2 weeks, so you losing 2 weeks if they vote no.
The problem is that there are at least some of the commissioners uncomfortable without the exterior lower mullions, and that might cause some of the commissioners to say no. And you have to have at least 4 of us to say yes.
Okay.
No, because there may be a different window manufacturer that would allow you to do. Grids. I'm talking about.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Commissioner Wells.
Thank you. You know, there may be an in-between here. You know, some of the upper windows that are gonna be hinged out are gonna look the same with the same grid pattern and what have you, you know, which I believe is appropriate. I mean, maybe there's a middle ground where we can have the outward facing windows. I still think it's gonna take time to do it, and I might suggest we continue to the next meeting. Just a site visit may be appropriate just to get a better look to if there's a middle road here that we can take. What's facing the street, I think the 6/6 is fairly critical to it. And there may be an option that they can explore that would at least be, you know, what's in the back side of the house, I'm less concerned about, I think. But so it would be the least visible would, you know, I would be, obviously, we can talk about that. So what I'm suggesting is that we do plan a site visit, just so a couple of commissioners can get a good idea about the legitimate condition of the windows and the potential for repair versus the absolute need for replacement. And then what does the house actually look like from what particular angle, to see if there's some middle ground we can reach.
Thank you.
That was another one of my questions. This is the back of the home right now. Is what are our requirements on these windows? As far as the regular follows, or what they can see in front of public ways, which we do.
We can't see anything in some of that, can
If you go up the next street. And you look behind that house, there's gonna be two windows that we can see from the street.
Now, well, that's why my suggestion was that, at least to have a couple commuters take a drive around and take.
Be able to see what can and can't see.
Right.
That's what that's. I haven't been down that street.
Very difficult to see.
So if we could continue with the site visit, that might help, deal with getting the answers I think they need to. Here,
Absolutely.
that may be most fair. It's hard to vote on something. Why, when we're not.
Right.
Yep. Would the commissioners be okay with that?
Well, it's up to the petitioner.
So I just wanted to, that you would be able to be available for a second. Sure. So that's something that I think we work for you. We postpone it, we come, say, because a couple of us come out to the house and look at it. All right, so let's ask the commission to vote to allow the petition to be moved to the next historical commission meeting to give us time for a site visit. Move. Thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's only issues. It's only.
Night. Night.
Thank you very much. for your time.
Yeah, here's your car.
Get you window.
Yeah.
Contact info. 32. Yep.
Thank you. All right, so we have next an environmental review for 154.
Only 180 St. James.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I do something? Okay, 180 St. James, window doors and lattice, there's someone here from 180 St. James, come on down, please. Welcome, welcome back. Give us some names and we'll actually address it.
I'm Donald Combs, the owner of 180 St. James.
And goes out your residential address.
One's, going to South Road.
Thank you. Okay, so this is a request for an application for certificate of hardship.
Do you want me to give an overview real quick? It's been from this stop working very well. Prior to Alvin departing for engineering, he and I worked on a stop work order regarding the door and the lattice. I believe Donald came in front of the commission back in 2022. We got some approvals. It looks like the lattice that was installed differed, and I just thought and then the door looked like it was maybe misaligned with what was approved, and then thereafter I noticed that the windows had been also changed out, not in correspondence with this time, the certificate with the certificates. So that's how we, and then Donald reached out to me, and that's where we are today. So he's coming in for a certificate of hardship.
So, basic knowledge of what you're about.
So, I think this July will be 3 years since I've owned the property. And the windows, you know, I come back and forth and I talked with you guys and told you how the windows that were historically correct were just completely out of my budget, and I had a contractor who I ended up parting ways with. And he has a history here, but he kind of he didn't do some of the work that he was supposed to do, so that kind of dampened on my budget. And then I got a new contractor and we went through the budget and getting this thing tidied up and just getting to certificate of occupancy, getting a CO was our main concern. And having historically correct windows, which wasn't in the budget. Now, the house was vandalized at some point, and the window frame, the door was smashed out and somebody got into the property. So just after dealing with vandalism and homeless people being at the property, I had to make a decision to get this place tidied up because I'm paying the mortgage and I'm just, you know, just leave it out, honestly.
Well, the two issues are vehicles and the windows.
The windows, and I lost my thoughts, I'm in trouble navigating through this. But the windows that were approved were supposed to be black, I believe vinyl. From what I recall, and the windows that were installed were white.
Yeah, the exterior of the window was supposed to be black.
Yeah, so,
So the contractor put in white windows instead of black?
You know, the contractor put in beams, he did other things that took away from the budget. So before I was coming to the commission, I don't think you were here at that point. Yeah, and I already didn't have a budget for historically correct units. And I ran into some issues with a contractor and it was just completely out of range at that point.
So the windows are not the correct color.
correct.
And the door.
With the door, just something you did temporarily to secure the property.
I mean,
Was the front door to just secure the property?
yes,
So
absolutely.
but is that door gonna stay, or did you just put that up to secure the property? Because
To make sure the property is secure, absolutely.
Right, it's not.
But is it gonna go back to what you agreed to?
I never had a door, the door was never discussed with the commission, I don't remember.
Oh, this was probably the agreement door,
Yeah,
right? So it wasn't a problem, but now it's, no, it's, now it's. Yeah.
So, if I may say so. So when we came in the project, setting them down for, and we didn't work on this originally, so we came in after. The house wasn't weather tight, so the contractors that worked on it. The house wasn't weather tight, the windows were broken, they were vandalized, doors were vandalized, kicked in, multiple times, front, back door. So we had to get this house weather tight, or else they won't be inspections on things. So his budget was significantly reduced. So literally half of this project, I'm doing it because he's my friend. He has no line item, but I'm doing it just because my friend is his grandparents' house. He's trying to get it redone. He has his kids, visitation. He's trying to have a home. And he's paying mortgage and paying for another place to live. So I understand that the commission has their standards. So I think pretty much what he wants to ask is the windows, obviously is an issue, if the windows can be addressed, because we just replaced the windows. Most of the original windows are still there.
He's asking for the white windows to remain. Even though they were originally included.
Correct.
The first three was.
Right, but yeah, they were, like I said, just to get that house weather tight from the elements, rodents. So,
What about the lattice?
the
Well,
walls,
very
so like that's
Yeah.
not correct. We're,
Some of the lattice is here.
What's the lattice?
so the lattice, we replaced parts that were broken, but we replicated the pattern.
Yeah, so this was the lattice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that all got painted,
okay,
all
so,
the same color, yeah.
yeah, so,
That was just initially when we did it, but then we went through and that all got painted. Same color. That's the way it is.
So the lattice no longer is an issue.
so this is the historical photo.
Those obligations this house were.
Yeah.
This, but it's not a significant.
So the piece with the lattice, if it was part of the, what did we agree to? What was in the motion on the piece of the lattice? If it's to restore what's there, what he has there,
So that's.
he just feathered it in, and that's.
So, this is where there's a little bit of, lost in translation since, Alvin helped start this.
Yep.
So just give me this. So these are the original ones. Front door to include repairing the painting. So that was.
Chain
about
and
the
design
door.
material.
Yep. So then then the door was replaced. Then we have replaced 34 windows. Exterior color will be black.
Yeah.
And grid, we have the front door again. This was 2 weeks later. So an update to the door and then an update to the window. So I think with the lattice, it was probably never discussed. It was more the lattice was removed, and then as you saw in the pictures, you know, they were replaced. Some of it were, replaced.
And then painted.
So
Yeah.
that we just repaired it to try to mirror such.
Yeah, so it's possible the lattice is a non-issue.
That's what I'm reading, because I don't see the lattice in any suit.
Yeah,
So the lattice is a non-issue. The door at the moment is a temporary door. So the real issue that you're asking is to leave the white windows. That were supposed to be.
And some of the windows were white already. My grandparents changed some of them that one. Some of them were already white.
And then the issue too is, obviously with the windows, we didn't replace them all. That, with the reduced budget, if you got 34 windows of what historical society wanted, it's a quarter. And that's just windows and
Mr. Chair,
we have to do everything.
Yes, Commissioner Walsh.
my first question is, when you found this, you weren't able to complete this in the way that we approved. Why didn't you come back to see us? In order to have some, so we could figure out some pathway for you to finish the house appropriately.
Came to the commission and each time it just. Every time I made a suggestion as to what was in my budget, it was, well, can you find this window? Can you find that window? It has been 3 years out of the property.
Right, but my point is that we had what I saw there, 3 different agreements for work to be done that was previously approved by us. So when you realized that you weren't going to be able to complete it the way it was approved, I mean, my question is, why didn't you come back before us? But that's just a technicality. I was just wondering if you realized if you thought you didn't have to or something like that, or if you just didn't.
3 years, I had to get a certificate of occupancy. I came and I tried to work with the commission from the beginning there. Alvin is the one who told me that I could have white windows and so on and so forth. I never threw Alvin under the bus for that, but I couldn't afford it. I just could not afford it.
Because that's not the criteria. But you agreed at some point. You sat at a meeting when my signature's on all those, several of those papers. So you must have agreed to the windows in black slimline windows in black. I mean, you knew at the time what it was gonna cost you, because you must have had the details in front of us.
Their compassion letter, I read all of that. That you wrote on February the 5th as a part of this application. Did you write this letter yourself?
Absolutely.
Okay. So it seems that you, are currently working, how many jobs?
3,
Okay, and how long have you been doing that?
past 2 years.
So, I think the commission rightly wants to know whether you are a scofflaw and you didn't do what you wanted to do and you just ignored us, what you said you would do. Or whether you were overwhelmed by your current working conditions. In some way that it just slipped your mind.
Yeah. It got to a point where, yes, there was a time lapse, of course, just from working and being busy and. Yeah. Just overwhelmed in general by the whole process from the beginning.
If I may add, Richie, so I mean, obviously I know him very well and talk a lot. And we were doing another project. That's why we couldn't originally take his project. But he would tell me the problems he had and I tried to consult him as best I could. But he just got taken advantage of by some contractor. That's basically what it was. He was working to pay what got paid to original contractors. He still has to pay that note, the money that got dispersed. So, and then he has to try and see his kids and pay for someone else, where else to live when he's paying for houses. So he got taken advantage of and overwhelmed, where he wasn't able to oversee the project the way he should have. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
That's the hardship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, personally, the biggest problem is those glaring white windows. We talked about it, we talked about it, it's a problem. So that's what I think we gotta try and work out. I mean, I remember you coming a few times, and always your grandfather's thing, I really respect that you're trying to keep it and go, but remember, in a way, we're all stewards of these properties, they've been around over 100 years. Right, so we're kind of in one segment of time, and what the whole purpose of this is to try and kind of keep that over time. Because once it's changed, right? And once you have windows that the people next door are gonna point to your house and say, well, that dude's got white windows, why can't I have white windows? So like the last one, the way to look at this might be what can be seen from the public way. Because there's nothing in back of it, there's no screen in back of it, it's only what can be seen from the front and the sides. So the compromise might be to deal with what's in the front and try and make what you can see from the street black. Because that's what you agreed to. And that would, I think, check a lot of boxes for the historic commission. And it would live up to what you're committed to and would look appropriate.
Commissioner Nestor just brought up a possible important piece of information. That is it probable that the exterior of these windows be painted black?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. Back into reality, because get the final paint that would adhere to that.
Right, I've seen it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the answer to the question.
It's loud, so Commissioner Walsh can hear what's being said as well.
Yes, we're discussing the possibility of the applicant considering painting these black and thus being able to continue. But that would be a very strong commitment on your part.
If they're just, it just depends, part of it depends on the model. If it's an appropriate model window, but it's just in white, I would not object to them painting them black. I mean, it's obviously you got to do it correctly in order to have it last appropriate. But no, it's only because we heard the whole plan, we approved it, we signed it, and we gave it to them, and then it didn't get done. And I would expect, and I'm not trying to lecture you for this. You should have just come before us right away. And we could have maybe put some other plan in place where over time you replace the windows with the appropriate ones or whatever. And we could still do that, but I like the idea of what's visible from the street versus what isn't relative to, helping you mitigate this problem. But I don't see that I'm gonna tell you right now, I can't vote for white windows in the house. Especially if they're not even the same model, if they're just regular vinyl windows with the thick sill on the bottom. There's a reason we do slimline because they sit low on the windowsill and they look more like an original window. I don't know, maybe you do have those. And if you had those, then I would be certainly amenable to painting them black and giving you time to do it. Not saying you have to do it in a week, giving you an appropriate amount of time to do it. So I'm open to suggestions.
Watch if I may, just to be clear, the windows that were approved were installed, but they were installed in white.
Okay, that's good. That's good news.
Is that true? No. Oh, no, so a different was.
They're different windows. The different ones approved that had mullions.
Can you, I think we had pictures of the one, are these the ones you installed?
Yes.
So they weren't the ones that we the stop model we approved in white.
Yeah, the ones we approved were silver line V1 slim line with exterior grids to match existing.
Right.
That was September 20.
And what are these? I can see 1/1s there
These are 1/1s, yeah.
instead of it with no grids.
Which seems to be the bulk of what's in the house now anyway.
Well, this is
So if I may, could I ask,
Yes.
so if those windows are in black, could we omit the mullions or do you have to have them? You really can't have those after per se, that.
No, it's yeah, you have to. But we have like a current picture of what the house looks like now, that what.
I'll
Yeah.
get it out there.
That's it.
I found my thing.
There it is.
Finally.
another door.
Hi.
That's the back door though, that the commission doesn't control that one, right?
No, that's
No, you
the
can't-
back door.
Public way, you can't see it from a public way, it's
Not visible. Good.
not visible from a public way, so.
These were the photos that I
It adds some levity. Technology is our friend, right?
When it works, beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
Hey.
Yep, you can see those little white outlines.
Yeah, stick out.
It's a great old house.
I had great bones,
It,
got great bones.
can see the.
So the windows behind the plywood, are they just the rear to the windows or is there already vinyl there?
Yeah, so-
Just put plywood there.
So the windows are replaced, so the exterior trim didn't get touched at all. So basically, the windows were installed from the inside, so it didn't affect that. So some of those windows are still the replacement, the original windows, but we left the plywood up.
For security, again.
For
I'm
security,
just asking,
because
I
it
don't
just-
know what's behind it, that's all.
So, all right, go ahead. Sorry.
If I may, so kind of what we're asking is, because obviously we're going and I didn't realize it, so you did to a stuff. We're asking like, because I think we have until April, which we might have to push out a little bit longer. Because drywall and stuff is getting done, probably within the next week. We're gonna start putting it back together. We want to be able to have time to get him in the house, get a CO, and then he can address your concerns. Just give him a little window to be able to do that without stopping work. Because by stopping work, he has to pay a mortgage And then he has to pay another place, and that's what's, you know, further.
Sure.
You know,
Well, let's work on the solution.
So what I'm hearing is that the possible solution is once you have your CO, then you can work on replacing the non-approved windows with the approved black windows.
because the windows that we put in were basically, because they were broken. And we had to have the house weather tight. And that was the most economical way. Because right now, like I said, the budget, we're working on $180,000 budget, $180,000 budget originally. And we're working with half. To do all of the same work that was in that 180. So we're just trying to get it in the house, and then we can go forward with your concerns.
So what I'm hearing is that these windows are also temporary, like the doors. That's what you're saying, because
Yeah.
you're saying once you are in with your CO, then you can start working on taking these temporary windows
Yes.
out. And replacing them one at a
Getting
time,
in compliance, exactly.
one at a time with the windows that were approved.
Yes.
That's what.
Hmm.
So you anticipate you'll have occupancy, but
Probably in the next couple months, we should
let's say
be done.
at the end of May.
Yeah.
So then, would you be able to replace the windows that are visible from the public way within the next year?
And giving them time, that will be amazing, because then we can just start, you know, replacing, you know, the front, the fronts, you know, then work his way up to it, but that way he'll have a place for himself and his family. Be able to, you know, consolidate his expenses.
What do you think about that possibility, commissioners?
I think that's a good possibility. It's, it just has to be an agreement that he keeps.
Stop work would be lifted in order for you to get your CO. And then we do a year to replace
Now,
the windows and everything for the public way with the original silver line. You want black.
For clarification purposes, the original certificate was for 34 windows. Are you intending on replacing all 34, or are you?
well, I mean, that's gonna dictate on the budget, so we replaced what was broken, so we replaced.
Do we want to count? Do we count with the street of estimate how many windows it would be that you can see?
So I was thinking,
It probably isn't 34.
I was thinking if the commission was wanting to entertain it, like maybe it's the front facing windows over a year, and then the remaining windows maybe, so it's kind of like a phase. Or if you've abandoned 34 windows altogether, I think the commission would want to know that.
That's okay with me as long as the manufacturer's still making the windows. You know, concern.
And then you would have to come back for the door replacement.
I think also you're right really well and very passionate. If you could just keep us maybe apprised of your success as you're going along, it would allay a lot of our concerns. And we want you to succeed and have this home for as you envision it and as it's as meets the kind of thing you want to hand down to these children. Okay, so
Then you're part of our community. You're around the corner from him, the Dermot Street. Right, so I see your house 10 times a day. I buy it 10 times a day.
Right.
If you need help or you need somebody looking on buildings, you can ask your neighbors.
that's
But my only, and thank you for your services in this environment, we keep all safe. My only ask, with all respect, that whatever you agree to, you do. And if you can't do it, come back and say, okay, I know we agreed to this, but. Right, because integrity is important, and if you can't, it's okay, but you gotta go back and say, hey, I tried, I'm trying to problem. Right,
By the way.
and your integrity is still intact, and you can kind of work it out. But when people don't. You look at people different.
Yeah.
Right?
So, when all this said, is there a motion by commissioner to at least begin the resolve of this stuff?
How many windows can we commit to?
Those,
Yeah, I don't think. The
I guess you could,
motion, I think it has to come.
yeah, I think you could ask for a motion and then someone says, so moved, so.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Mr. Chair?
Vincent, you had a question?
Yeah, is this another site visit so we can be more, so we can be more specific and know what we're doing?
I don't know if I feel that way particularly, but I might like a site visit during the work.
I mean, I'm just thinking if some windows we know we don't have to be concerned with at all, and what would other windows be? How many of them and what time frame? Okay, if you're not concerned, I'm okay.
Well, maybe my, maybe the motion that I'm asking for might solve that comment. So what I move is, what I suggest, if somebody could give me a motion to allow the work order to be lifted so the homeowner can obtain a certificate of occupancy by the end of May. And at that time, to give him 1 year to replace all the temporary windows that are now on the front and two sides of the house with the original Silverline V1 series
in
black as originally approved. And any change to that, the homeowner will come back to discuss his timing. And eventually with the door that is also temporary, he will come back to discuss the door before replacing or removing the temporary door.
Don't move.
second,
Second?
yeah, that was. Oops.
So quick question. So you're saying once he gets the CO, a year from CO,
from May,
it starts.
right?
Yes.
Well, it
That's
ends.
that's very reasonable.
You need to come back.
It ends.
Right.
It starts, you know, kind of when you leave, but we know that you're gonna have to get in first.
So before I have a vote on this motion, do we have any commentary either for or not for this application for hardship at 180 St. James Avenue?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
there, and Andrew helped me out here, you may not need a public hearing here because he's just re-agreeing to things that had public hearings previously and were okayed by us. We're just extending the time on those particular issues. But I think if they remain the same, then you don't have to rehear it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how I communicate this with the building department. I guess I could just email them or explain to them the process.
Our request lift the sound or
Yeah.
line.
And I'm thinking that it might be good to issue a certificate just because it kind of reinforces that 1 year.
You're gonna memorialize the conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so then I guess I'll accept your suggestion that we don't need.
No, we're on the motion. You can just have a vote on it. I was just suggesting you might not need it, but it won't hurt to have it. And I think, Andrew, you were just suggesting we have it, right?
yeah, I was suggesting having it just so it's memorialized and documented.
So then, Harry, you had your hand.
Yeah, my name is Harry Seymour. I live at 68 Washington Road. And I would say that I am for the way this is being worked out. And I think, you know, it's gotta be a little frustrating for the owner here to try to get things done when there's so many variables that are out of his control. But I think you're working it through, and I think that's the way it should go.
Thank you. Anyone else comments? Okay, we'll come back to the commission. So there is a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Any other further discussion? I request a vote.
Talk it to me.
I'll start with Commissioner Zorzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh.
Yes,
Thank you. Commissioner Nestor.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Crowe.
Yes.
And Commissioner Nardi is yes. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes.
Okay, so now you're on.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I'll put that on my calendar.
What is it? That's what it is.
Okay, so we have CPA related letters of support.
Where the board Catherine?
Hold
We put the board Catherine.
on, I saw two things on there.
But I don't see it.
Here, but I don't see it in.
Let's see, the first page would look like this. Environmental review.
Oh, did the 259?
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think it was squad. Yeah, so.
It's not 259?
No, it's actually 154.
It's actually
Yeah.
on the top.
Yeah, yeah, it's this, it is this, one.
Okay, so
It says 250.
it's 154.
154 days.
Catherine,
Yes.
Catherine.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
In the new application, I have that spot top of that.
So is there someone here for 154 count? Not everybody knows what you're doing. Now, please give us your name and your potential address for the record.
Can you speak up so he can hear you?
Denzel Williams, 30 Western Road. President Williams, 22 Houston Street.
Here it is.
Yeah, so the property is 259 Main Street. That had us at 154 Cat, because that's our business. So it's kind of.
Okay. So we are discussing 259 base.
Yes, because it's the whole shop.
the corner, yeah, it's the corner,
It's still
the
that,
corner retail spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
it just had multiple addresses, but will still be pointed to the right of.
Yeah. So the proposed work for this review is exterior renewal, damage repairs, facade, color renewal. No, where? Sure.
Damage in the facade color. Basically windows, but in those cracks, where it's fading, the exterior of the building.
With cracks, holes where
Oh,
it's fading.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so tell us about your project.
So basically, we are contracted with the city, with the storefront.
Storefront improvement.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, storefront improvement. And we're looking mainly to replace the broken windows and change the color of the exterior, to kind of give it like a facelift, if you will.
Keyboard.
Very miles, maybe not.
Is it walking hours?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably grab that keyboard behind you.
Cooperating.
Does it look like this?
Just as a.
Yeah, it's the,
This is all.
No.
Moving that.
no, not probably.
You want it as a backup?
Yeah, I will take it anyway.
Oh, see?
Tell your keyboard. Utility is everything, right?
Is it this? Front of what?
Yes, that's the corner.
There it is.
So basically you're repairing the thing and repainting.
Yeah,
Is there any change that to the windows or the?
no, there's about, I believe there's 18, no, frames are all gonna stay the same. There's about 18 cracked, and damaged windows that are getting replaced.
Okay.
So it's
Same exact windows, everything.
They're all gonna be black, they're all gonna
Yep.
look just like they are now.
Yep, no frame change, no structural change.
So we're not seeing reflective glass, it's just the.
Shining.
That's just a shine. Some.
So you're gonna be replacing with clear glass, so you can see inside. Yep. And I don't think we control the color. No, just curious, what color you think, I think you should go.
So there were two, I actually kept that kind of open because I didn't know, based on our communication. I didn't know if there was a requirement on color.
There's not, it's just a curiosity.
Fair fox brown, I believe it is. I have a color chart here. So
Like, I wasn't sure.
it was on the darker side because we wanted to last. Yeah, that's the. Keep it on the.
wow. And so the windows will be black and then that's brown.
So the windows of framing, you're saying?
That framing in.
The windows are black now.
Yeah.
All the window frames are all black.
Yeah.
So you're gonna replace them with the same one, leave them, and replace the
Exactly.
glass the same.
All that's gonna be the same, the
Right.
color of
The outside walls, instead of this, the tan is gonna be.
Yeah, exactly,
Fairfax brown.
exactly.
Right.
And we went darker just to kind of. Black and warmer, or to see that.
And is there gonna be awnings added as well?
So there's gonna be an awning replace, it's gonna be the exact same, it's just gonna be black.
Okay.
That one,
Yeah, exactly, that's the action, that was drawn up, right now it's green.
Yeah.
it's green.
But that was drawn.
Pizza has really good food, by the way. You guys have any?
But you see, like, next to the door,
So it's all saying, you're replacing what you see, it's gonna be replaced with new material, the same color and same style.
exactly, not sure.
No changes to any of the lighting,
No.
fancy black historic lights are all gonna stay. Yeah.
Yeah, keeping the same thing, it's at the next.
Okay. So this is a environment review where we need to submit. For the vote on something.
No.
No adverse effect.
Yeah.
Right?
Would be a bad thing, so.
I always err on the side of caution and would recommend taking public input.
So any other comments, requests, interests, questions from commissioners? Commissioner Walsh, anything?
No, I'm good.
We're trying to talk a little louder for you.
Thank you.
We're getting closer. All right, so without any further questions at the moment, I'll open it up to the public. Is there anyone who would like to speak either in favor or not for the renovations, repairs to 259 Bay, 154 Catherine? As heard during the meeting. Thank you. So come back to the commission. I'm open to motion to allow staff to write a letter of support and no negative impact on the district.
Second,
We have motion and second discussion regarding that. Okay, I'll take a vote. Now, Commissioner Nestor,
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi is yes, Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Zorzi,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walsh.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So,
Thank you guys.
thank you.
Have a good day.
You be done. See it.
So this is kind of we're still contracting with the city now. They're reviewing our contract actually. So hopefully the painter wanted to wait till the snow season stops. So hopefully by the summer.
That's.
So.
Jamaican beef patties.
Yeah, so where it's green on the top. It's kind of like.
Asking the question about the green right here.
Yeah, I'm just curious, if we were to make that black and then paint it brown. As in full exterior,
Two times.
so as it is now, yeah, I was just asking, like, is it, or did we just okay all brown, or is it okay if we do a black?
I think because it is a detailed with the black, it probably get much nicer.
Okay,
You'll see it. That's it.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's actually the second time that whole complex got the storefront improvement. First time place was really out. It was probably 18 years ago, 20 years ago. Big giant difference what you see there, because the city even did the curb cuts.
Yeah.
They didn't just, pay somebody to repaint it. They did the intersection. It really made a big impact on that point.
One thing that didn't do it is putting it around to go to the door.
Yeah.
Keep tripping.
Yes,
So we ended up doing that. People.
you can actually see.
Yeah.
Doing so.
Well, you had to let the petitioner, you had to let the tenant do something. Right? Pay for something. I mean, you couldn't just have that he paid for everything.
I wanna know when your next show is, cause you are hilarious. I wanna know when your next show
We need
is.
some new friends. Take your waiters away. Just
That's it. Okay, so this is.
It would be, matter of, no.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Okay, we move on to the CPA, but
Yes.
okay, so first on the agenda, 25 Parker Street, Immaculate Conception. Is someone here to speak up again?
Yes.
So what's your name?
Peter Study, spelled exactly first name Piotr.
Okay. And your residential address.
25 Parker Street.
So this is a request for support, a letter of support,
Correct.
and what it's about.
It's basically, last year we asked also for the letter of support and we got it, but we are not chosen by CPA because there's a lot of petitions for that. And I was asked to come back for this year to get the new letter. We're able to finish only 4 windows last year with our own money. And we ran out of the funds for that. This is why this year we're asking again. We can only ask for non-religious windows. That means we understand that like you see the top 2, we have to do it ourselves. But top lower, we can possibly get money for this. We have total of 12 non-religious windows that they have to be done, and 6 religious. Means basically I am asking for grant about $150,000. If they give less, that's fine with us too. We can go with small ones, like at the top, those ones are religious, but over there, this is like the front of the church. Second picture is the choir, and other 2 is like the side of the church as well. That means that's basically what I'm asking on this project. If we can just get a letter of support that they can later think about it if they want it or not. It's no change of color of anything. And basically they come, they remove the whole panel. They don't remove the frame and they take to the studio and they bring back from the studio.
Are you going to take? Again?
Huge.
Okay. Questions from the commission? Any questions? Commissioner Walsh,
Oh, sir.
thank you. These are not public hearings, so we can just move to motions to offer letters support.
Yeah, there, and maybe you guys can help me due to your experience, but, they've been asking for letters of, like determination of eligibility and letters of support. I kind of have viewed it as why not do it all at once? I determine that it's eligible of the historic structure and offer your letter of support. That's probably how I would recommend moving forward, having not done this.
You agree with that? Commissioner Walsh, is what we still in the past?
What, putting it all together?
Yeah,
Yeah, I do.
so it's, if I remember the wording, it's that the structure is historically significant.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
Determination.
so.
So we would be talking about both number one and number two on the
Uh,
agenda for.
I would do it separately. Yeah. I was recommending.
All right, so can I request a motion to do so for letter support on 25 Parker Street, the stained glass window restoration?
And make a motion to support the, to provide a support letter of eligibility to restore the stained glass windows.
Second.
Any further discussion? Let's vote. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Zorzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Nestor,
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi, yes. Then I ask for a motion for letter support for the window repair and replacement.
You should, so this is separate and I'll bring up this one too, because you haven't seen the information in this one yet. Sorry. You wanna. Robert?
Yep. There is a second project with the regular windows. You can see them in the basement. Over there, regular glass windows with, we discovered this is not black, but it's like dark bronze frames over there. Exactly, since I put the application, I reached out to the person to supply the windows to 34 Copernic Street. That they're going to basically be the same way from Harvey. And exactly it's 84 number from West Springfield. They're going to be custom designed because they have to be, believe it or not, they're not all the same sizes. and we're going to do them in the basement, little bit on the side of the church. And major reason for them is it's 35 of them total. I can open only 2 of them. And energy efficient part over here is a big factor. That means we cannot basically open it. We can see the wind coming through, but we cannot open them and do anything with them as well. But we're not going to change colors as well. Everything will be, and design is the same thing how it is now.
Creations, great window, great choice.
Yeah, very good, Paula. Commissioner Walsh, any questions? Commissioner Walsh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, just want to make sure. So I'm open to the motion for letter support. Questions?
Like,
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Take a vote for the letter of support for the letter repair and replacement. Let's discuss. That Commissioner Nestor,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
yes.
Commissioner Zorzi.
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi, yes, Commissioner Paul.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Is there a need for me to come for public hearing for second?
So for the windows, I think you'll have to come back,
But there,
yeah, because it's a. Yeah, you're in the immaculate.
That's okay.
Conception.
okay, very good.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Yep, yep, very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, on our agenda is 5-2 Sumner Avenue, stained glass window repairs and restoration.
The commission,
Oh,
I am Kira Holmes, we have a from Springfield Park Preservation Trust, but I'm representing this time Springfield Performing Arts Ventures and their CPA application for restoration of stained glass windows. And 52 Sumner Ave.
Your residential address?
I usually do Springfield one. If you want the Connecticut one, I could do that.
Where are your residences?
Okay,
For the record.
23 West Ave, Milford, Connecticut.
Yeah.
So, thank you everyone for making time for me tonight. I really appreciate it. So the CPA application, this is a 1912 church. This would be for restoration of stained glass windows, at least 27 of them if possible. The budget is under 300,000 still, not by much, but just a little. And it is for essentially these windows, unfortunately, some of them are held together by tape. It's not good. And we do have a quote on there that you can see in your packet, as well as I do have, I don't know if I've included these, but here's some pictures of windows as well. If anyone wants these, you're more than welcome to them. Show the damage better than others. And this is a nonprofit that does not have the budget to do this without a CPA application. So we are really hoping that we can do this. We're doing a partial match, not much, but essentially just for the scaffolding rental in this budget. And everything else is as follows. And we're looking for a support letter as well as historical determination letter as part of the CPA application request.
Never heard of a 10% inflation. Wow. What the word is that?
For any essentially construction costs, if something changes in your project budget, the CPA application allows you to do that.
So it's a contingency.
Yes.
You like it to say cost plus?
Well, maybe prefer you say cost minus.
Oh, well, there you go.
I just used whatever words CPA application would allow us to do.
So the total that this grant is 4580.
The total of the grant would be actually 4,600 less than the total estimate of the project, so it'd probably be about 222,800. Because again, we are doing $4,600 part of it. And again, if we don't have the inflation costs, then it might actually be even $20,000 less, but we know how prices go up for materials lately.
We're all about outlooks, you know that.
Yes.
Money parts on the way.
Any questions, Commissioner Walsh?
No, sir.
Thank you. So, commissioners, any further questions or can I give it a motion? It's forward the letter of support for determination.
So moved. 52 separate.
Thank you very much. Take a vote. Start with Commissioner Murray, yes, Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Zorza,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
and Commissioner Nestor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm also the commissioner for the next 4 applications. So if you want, I can stand up, say my name.
What makes it
press again.
convenient?
Well,
What would you for
We'll
future.
just blink our eyes.
Okay, that sounds perfect. So again, I'm Karen Holmes, I'm now representing Springfield Commonwealth Academy. And the first application you have on your docket is 201 Maple Street.
Yes.
And this is an 1844 building originally that was then remodeled, as far as my understanding, in 1901. More affectionately known as the Andrew Wallace House. And what we are asking for our CPA application is windows, roofs, skylights. Unfortunately, as many of you know, the 2011 tornado hit this building. It has been in severe disrepair ever since, unfortunately. The new property owners hired me on to do the grant writing for this project because of knowing about historic preservation. And I've drafted this proposal for everything with working with their contractor. And thus why the budget is for windows, roofs, and skylights only. Although you will see work in future projects that we hope for either in future grants or CPA application. So the budget will be actually 300,000 for the project. But what you see in here is future projects of exterior painting and more exterior repairs. Again, we are only focusing right now on the windows, which is 64, roof repair, and 4 skylights for this building.
Very nice.
And it's,
Thinking the same.
Considering they're dying for.
yes. And it's also on the Springfield Preservation Trust most historic
Index.
endangered list.
Questions from commissioners?
No,
All right, we'll open to a motion to offer a letter of support and determination. Someone for 201 April. Second.
Second.
Thank you. I'll take the vote. Commissioner Zorzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh. Commissioner Walsh,
yes,
thank you. Commissioner Nerd, yes, Commissioner Thorold.
Yes.
All right, and Commissioner, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, that was hard.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Now, let me blink again. And we're now on for 41 days. Okay.
All right, so 241 Maple Street, this is affectionately called the David Ames Junior House, historically designed by Chauncey Shepherd about 1827, Federal Greek Revival, again, Maple Hill Historic District. And our application for this one, again, is for roof, windows, and this time starting some of the exterior work on the building. What we defer is paint repair, and again, you see that it's over 300,000. Again, the work that we'll be doing is only up to 300,000. We're not going to do the painting until either another grant or if we get a donation later. We are only applying for the windows, the exterior, and the roof repair at this point. You see a quote from the contractor in here as well. And again, unfortunately, this building was hit by the tornado. It's been in disrepair ever since. And we're hoping we can finally fix it and get it back to its historical character.
Question from the commission?
You want to update outdoor recreation? Pass on.
Yes. I think I used a previous application.
Oh, good. We can say that.
Okay, can I get a motion to?
A motion for a letter of support for 241 Maple Street.
Yes, please.
Second.
Thank you very much. Take the vote. Commissioner Crowell? Yes. Commissioner Zorzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
yes,
Commissioner Nestor,
Yes.
And Commissioner Nardi is this.
Thank you again, Commissioner.
Your application is really nicely put together and very.
It's easy when you have all the everything right in front of you.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
So how many more?
I'm two more properties and then I'll stop with the commission's time. But I appreciate it.
We're delighted that you're finding ways to help these.
Our 275.
Yes, 275 Maple Street. So here is actually a stereoscope image that I'm not sure if I included in the packet. We will not be restoring it to this quality, I'm sorry. We do not have the resources. They took a lot of fun research in order to find anything, because there is no mattress record on this property. Yes, please, fine, right ahead. So I found through looking at colleagues' articles as well as street directories that most likely this carriage house was originally made, built in somewhere between 1873 1874. Unfortunately, like I said, it will not get returned to this quality. It probably will get returned more to a 1930s image, which you can find a WPA image on the cover. I think I might have included it on the cover of this packet for you. Yes. Because at that point, Kirkham remodeled the building. So that architecture style to him was outdated, and so he remodeled it, is my best understanding. So it unfortunately is in, again, disrepair, roof, windows, exterior painting is what we need for this building. Right now, the current proposal for the full project is $269,297.60. Again, under the $300,000 per CPA. It does have an active leak for the carriage house, and we do not want to lose this historic building. So that's why the CPA application, I think I included photos too, but this is currently what it looks like, just in case anyone is curious. And here's the other side. Graffiti, windows in disrepair, roof in disrepair. It needs tender love and care. And that's what we're hoping to achieve.
No one is living.
No one is living in it as far as I know. There's no squatters to the property. The last time I visited was about a.
Codes, the records.
I don't know.
I'm gonna bet money you'll find something.
But I haven't gone into the property, but I've done a few exterior looks while building the application.
Do we have any questions from the commission?
Nope.
None, I'll be glad to listen to a motion from someone. For the letter of support for that Maple Street. Okay. Second. Thank you, Commissioner. We'll vote, starting with Commissioner Nestor,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Zorzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi, yes. Okay,
Thank you.
we'll move on to 7 to 9 Stockbridge.
Yes.
Just to jump in, I'm going to have to abstain from vote conversation on this one.
Okay.
So now I'm representing Springfield Preservation Trust at this moment. And this is our second application on 79 Stockbridge Street, which is the third oldest building in downtown Springfield and has been on the National Register since 1983. Once we were starting to dig into the project, we unfortunately found a stabilization issue. So O'Reilly, Talbot, and Holcomb revealed severe foundation failures due to poor subsoil conditions. The building's weight is unevenly distributed, causing significant floor settlement, particularly on the third floor. Stabilization plan includes installation of new support columns from basement to roof, redistribution of weight through new beams and bearing points, leveling of the floors to restore safe occupancy. We really need this in order to continue the project. I know we just voted on a roof, but we need to do this, otherwise we're not going to be able to do this. And it's, again, another application for at least 300,000 at this point because of all of the issues with stabilization.
Questions from the commission?
Well, I was just wondering if we had a picture of that particular building, current picture.
I thought I put one in the packet,
Well,
but
you might have, but I'm not, I don't have a packet on my screen, unfortunately. I don't need to see it. I just would like to, if you have it, I figured.
I
Might
think
take a
that's still
second.
like an 80s image of it, so I guess I didn't include it in there. I think that's still an 80s image. So if the committee would like, I can send updated pictures. I apologize, I guess I forgot to include it in your application. But I can show some beams and a current image. We also have it on our website too.
I just want to ask you the question that, is this a savable building?
To my understanding, yes, it is a savable building.
It's not gonna be good money after bad?
The trust has had a very successful track record of restoring buildings in the 80s. I know we have.
I understand, Carrie, I know that. My problem with it is I don't ever doubt anything you tell us. You're okay with me, so don't worry about that. My question is, if the foundation is bad, that's the most difficult problem to solve within a reasonable financial range in order to save a building. So that's all. I was just wondering about that. I mean, I'm in favor of doing this. I just sometimes I just was wondering if it really is a savable building, or is it the potential that money could be better used somewhere else. But I'm not sure. What do you think? I mean, do you believe that's savable and that the money wouldn't be better served in other projects? It's okay with me.
I believe it's a savable building, and also with all the work getting done around this building too. To lose this one would be honestly a tragedy to the street.
I agree in general with that. Only to get really down to the bare bones is because I've seen it done a couple times where way too much money was spent on a building that wasn't either savable, or now a couple of 10 years later is just all falling apart again. But I agree with you on that. There's a lot going on there, and it would be a decent building to save, but there is a point where I'm not going to make the line. I'm in favor of this. I just, from a preservation point of view, I want to believe that you guys think this is the right thing to do, and you certainly have said so. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate your insight, Vinny, always, and please continue.
I can make a comment that sometimes the reinforcing of a foundation that's against another foundation is not a bad idea. Because sometimes they work against each other to stay up. So probably not a bad idea for the structures on either side of it. Okay, so I'm open to hear.
So I make motion for letter of support for 7-9 Stockbridge.
Second.
Second.
Commissioner Nestor, thank you. So I'll start with a vote with Mr. Nardi. Yes. Commissioner Kroll.
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh.
Yes.
Commissioner Nestor. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commission. I know it's been a long evening. I appreciate everything you do for everybody. And if the rest can ever help, let us know. And Happy New Year, since I haven't seen everybody since the New Year. So thank you.
So far, so good.
Should have hired her. Would have saved an hour and a half.
We're gonna move on to
Again, look me up
205
on
Eastern Avenue.
reservation trust. Call me, okay?
205 Eastern Avenue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, we're running out of time.
Okay, that's okay.
Next time.
I'm tired of it. It's connected. I'm so busy. Every time they fall in pasture, at the cathedral, but 57 Thompson Street's my Springfield address.
Okay.
And I'm actually doing a record for Peter Zorski's family.
Yeah.
Okay, good. He's a good guy. Yeah.
So tell us about your project.
So I think Samantha handles this now, but primarily they're over 90 floor, I'm not gonna say slate shingles that are in bad shape, we need to repair the slate roof, it's a slate roof. And it is just exactly what we said, repair it, and then there some vandalism. I saw in the front, stained glass that was broken, even though it had protection. I got to speak up for Commissioner Walsh. And then there is some deterioration with some masonry work that we want to make sure we get repaired. It's a beautiful building. And we acquired it. We're doing some renovations internally, but in terms of sprucing up this what we want. Make sure that we tighten up, button up the outside and exterior of that building and maintain it's a beautiful location. Yes. So we've got 3 different bids and porches and we look at them, they flag laundry and all that stuff and give us. It's like, I'm on the spiritual services side, but I'm here to answer any questions I can. It is very expensive. Well, it's more expensive to heat than it is anything else.
100 cubic feet.
30, 50 ceilings.
Yeah.
And you can see it's a lot of stained glass.
Questions from commissioners? None? Okay, well, we know the building and project. So be open to
Proposal letter of support for 205 Eastern Avenue.
Second.
thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So we'll start with Commissioner Fuller,
Yes.
Commissioner Zerby,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Nisbor,
Yes.
Commissioner Darden is yes.
Thank you all commissioners and thank you for well, I guess what we do now is we get a letter supporting when we're involved in the actual work.
And you would come back
And come back.
with an actual application saying, this is
May not be,
proposing, here's the vendor, here's what it's gonna look like, here are the materials.
only so many vendors want to do slate roofs.
Yeah. It's definitely,
It's
there are some,
but you want to get good ones.
you do, yeah.
Then stained glass go around there for many years. So thank you, my rate. I guess my wait is over. Thank you, Dinner.
There you go.
Yours is too. What I see. Thank you. You didn't give me some.
It wasn't asked. I wasn't here, I wasn't asked.
I'm not asking for it.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I'll probably send it to you in copies. Sure, yeah. We're gonna break down the little bit. Just right this time. Getting the people by your name.
Remember about her.
No, it's quite a lot.
Section 106, review of 1295 State Street telecommunications antenna. Local range. For caution,
Co-location.
co-location.
Yeah.
So what can we do about this?
I am uncertain about the particular motion.
It was wrong, but it does see an antenna.
So we have to be clear with
I mean, they're showing all the equipment, but I don't see on the outside what the.
I think it's all the way up the top here.
Oh, that
That's the.
No, it says existing.
It says existing.
weather bank. Yeah, that's what it said. Existing weather bank.
The weather vane is the antenna for the repeater?
No.
Remove this, remove that. Power converters into that there, those. You know, all the stuff they have listed and all the pictures they have are all racks, which would all be on the inside of the building and we wouldn't care about. So what's the ask as far as the historic commission goes?
So. On front page here, they have invite or comment on the fact that the above referenced project on historical resources within the project's area.
It says they're in building system.
Yeah, and building.
There's no impact.
And so I think they were required to send it to us, so. Because it's a section 106, so if there's no outside,
No adverse impact.
yeah,
Right.
Nothing happening on the exterior.
That's what I'm seeing,
That's what
but I don't make an assumption based on that, but that's what I see.
well, that's all we're seeing, so that's what should be in the
Okay.
determination.
Yeah,
and so. This is the request. We welcome comments regarding the fact that the co-location project on historical resources. But it appears to be all interior work. I should have made that clarification, but
But we can say that there's no negative impact. Due to the fact that there's nothing happening on the exterior.
Yep.
And do I have a motion now? I think we have a second.
whichever one did we do there, we
I
got.
think I heard you first. Second is Commissioner Nestor. We'll start. Marty is yes. Nicole?
Yes.
Marissa?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
And Commissioner Nestor? Yeah.
looks like we have gas for the night. Project.
So, since the Ignite local historic district ever source of gas meeting?
Yes, so I think during our last meeting, I had inadvertently said electric meter, but Amy made the clarification that it's actually gas meter, so.
Okay.
And we have Amy, and I believe Rick is affiliated with Eversource as well, so they're both online. Yeah.
Yeah, good evening. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. I was traveling for work today, so I'm still in my car. But
Your patience, sorry, we pushed at the end, but that's just kind of where you fall.
yeah, no problem at all. So I appreciate the commission's time to talk about this project. We had a chance to, so Amy Henderson, Community Relations for Eversource. I cover the city of Springfield. And so we have a gas project in that's going to be taking place or is taking place in the McKnight neighborhood. And the project is to, and Rick Whaler, he's one of the supervisors at Eversource on as well. The project is we're replacing, our old gas main with the newer technology. And as part of those projects that we do throughout the street or throughout the city is we upgrade service lines, and when we're doing that, we move meters from inside the properties to outside. That's a new safety standard of ours. It allows us better access to the meter. And it's part of our new safety guidelines and safety standards. So in this, looking at this project, you'll see on the screen here, I sent this to Andrew, the addresses that are listed that we're looking at meters needing to be moved from inside to outside. I believe in a lot of these cases, the electric meters are actually already outside in some of these locations, but we believe after looking at the guidelines that the commission has on their website that we'll be able to adhere to either non-visible or minimally visible installations in many of these locations. In some cases, depending on obstacles that we run into in the residence itself, just based on the structure and piping, versus in taking into consideration all of the regulations that we also need to adhere to, state regulations and DPU regulations, as where gas meters are allowed to be placed on residences. We do our best to put them in a location that is either in the back or minimally visible. In the cases where they would be significantly visible, or I believe moderately visible is the other term, we would we understand that those would require a certificate of appropriateness. And we also are willing to work with the homeowner or the historic commission if you'd like, on providing some sort of screening such as shrubbery, and we've done that in a lot of other communities. And so unfortunately, it's hard to know which locations where the meter would be, where we need to relocate the meter, until we have an appointment with the customer. So we schedule an appointment and we have to do a pre-piping inspection and take all of those considerations into play when we're looking at where it would be able to be placed. And so we've done this before in historic neighborhoods, but based on the sheer volume of what we're looking at for this project, it's significantly, I think, more addresses than what we've faced in the past. And so we wanted to work with the commission on the best way forward, just keeping all your time into consideration as far as paperwork and how you feel is best to proceed with this. And so I have also Rick on the line, and he can add a little bit more information as far as actual work. He is the supervisor overseeing this project.
Thanks, Amy. Yeah, so some of the stuff we consider, obviously we read through your guys' whole outline and what's expected. We definitely try to accommodate that first and foremost. Sometimes the basements are, finished fully, ceilings fully finished, which makes it difficult. We also try to avoid the driveway locations, because kind of like what Amy said, we're required to follow certain, standards and specs for when we install our meters places. So we try to avoid that, to avoid like the meter protection, like the bollards, because we don't want to really see those. People don't like to see those too much. So for the most part, we try to hide it as best we can. Some applications don't give us that option, being where the house is, or certain things that they've already done. But we're definitely want to put this out there up front so we can work together to get it whatever needs to be done.
So I'd like to start with a couple of questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So,
Please.
I was hearing that there may be some things that cause a difficulty from moving it to a place that's less visible, but dollars is not considered one of those things that should be considered as something to hamper the location. That's correct. In other words, you're not gonna hear, oh, it would cost us too much to put it in the back, that's why we're putting it on the front side.
No, that's not, it just comes down to basically the structure of the home, like Amy said, and stuff like that. Like if we can get it to the back, we would gladly put it in the back.
Okay.
We don't do it for price or convenience for ourselves. We, again, try to meet what the city's requirements or towns that we work in, and the customer. I mean, no one wants to see it in the front or, from a certain point, regardless of any home. So we try to accommodate, that first and foremost. The only thing that we do have to focus on is the functionality of the equipment. I mean, we can't just put it somewhere and not be able to get the service line to the new location, if that kind of helps you out.
So the next question is, just so that I can remember correctly. The reading of the meters are not done by someone coming up to the meter and read anymore. They are electronically, the information is electronically sent from the meter out to the street where somebody drives by and gets that information. So they don't have to walk up to the meter, and that's not necessary. The only real reason that it's on the outside is so that if there is a gas leak at the meter, it's outside and it's easier to test than waiting for somebody to let you in. Is that all true?
I mean, they do read it electronically. They do need to approach them sometimes to, repair parts on them and stuff like that. But also to put it outside of the requirement for safety. I mean, like it also helps the fire department. Like if the house is burning down, it gives them a chance to get first access to that to turn that off. So, I mean, it's more for safety, not just convenience.
But they'll shut off the gas from the street if there's a big fire going. They're not gonna try to shut everybody's meter off individually. So,
But no, they wouldn't shut the entire street off. They usually shut off the home that's having an issue.
but from the street, wouldn't they?
Not always you can do that without having to physically dig it up. Like you'd have to bring in machines and everything like that to do something like that.
Oh, I thought there were shut offs in the street.
Not in everyone. You are right. There most of the newer stuff. So like when we do this project, we will actually have that option available. But a lot of the older stuff does not have that option.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because I'm hearing you putting in the new stuff now.
Yes. So the newer stuff definitely would have that option, like you're saying, which allows them to do that and shut the meter. Yes, correct.
The probability is that you'll be able to get it into the back of the house or in the back section of the sides of the house, but not close to the front. And if you did, you would be able to come to the commission and say why.
I mean, we would definitely be able to come to you and give you a reason why. I mean, unless you want to, go in every look. I mean, it just depends on, like you said, the application.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking out loud, I don't know about the other commissions, but I'm just thinking out loud that to put a blanket yes on locations doesn't make any sense, because we have to be careful when we're saying yes to. However, it makes perhaps some sense that if it is in the back, then a certificate of non-applicability could be issued, meaning we already know it's in the back. We've already made that determination. But if it has to be on the sides or the front, then would behoove at least me to take a look at it individually. I'm not sure what the other commissioners have to say about that. But, and I have one last question. That is, when you said that you would be amenable to helping the homeowner putting some shrubs or so forth in the front of these things, would that cause difficulty for getting to the meter when you have a problem?
The shrub would sit about like a foot in front of it would be the requirement. We would set the shrub to where the requirement space of the meter is, per our standards and stuff. And that way, as the bush grows, I mean, eventually, as years go on, you do have to trim them back behind it, but you still have the front face of it. You know what I mean? So you can still have access.
Yeah, that was my concern. So the homeowner would have to make sure they keep it trimmed back. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Any other commissioners, questions?
Yes. Mr. Chair, one of the issues that we've had a few times with another with the electric company, I was going to say another utility, but we all know, is that they didn't care what we thought or what we did. And they have put electric meters without even coming in front of us and just stuck them on the middle of in the front yard of, front wall of a historic building. So two things. I really like that you're here. I appreciate that you're here and that your goal is remarkable that you want to work this out in a way. What I would like to suggest that we have to be careful with, I mean, some things we can blanket approve, and we probably could approve that if you know it's the back wall of a house, it's okay. The problem is the person assessing it has to understand our guidelines or what Amy, like for what we're trying to accomplish here as opposed, and just instead of just being there saying, well, they're not going to make us undo it if we put it in the wrong place, which is probably a true statement. It's not, I'd rather have us work it out ahead of time. And we're not against maybe taking some look at some of the less obvious ones to make sure that we're all on the same page, because any of us, we've been doing this a long time. Everybody on this commission's been around a while. And we know that some houses, it's going to be really difficult to fit our guidelines, and we should just mitigate the best we can working together. So again, I appreciate tremendously that you're sitting here talking to us. I think so far everything you've said is just what we need to hear and we can really work with. The difference is to what extent we have to actually go look at something first. And would want somebody, from the company actually suggest, well, maybe this is one they should see or whatever, instead of just doing it and seeing what happens after. It sounds like a lot of work, but it really, and how many meters are we talking about in the historic district?
So there's close to 70, and that's why,
Oh,
you know,
okay, I thought it was going to be way more than that.
Well, that's what's already inside. So the other ones on the project are already outside.
Yeah,
So
they're already outside.
they would stay in their same location.
Of course, you're right. Well, right, those are there.
So in total, I think there's like 134, but I think 70 are inside.
If 70 are outside and 70 are inside, the outside ones are not on our table right now. They exist.
Right.
Yep.
70, I think, is a reasonable number that we could hope that you would give us the possibility on some of them to look at them before they just get put in. Even if your installation people think they're doing it in the right way, if there's any alternatives, we don't mind taking the time to check some of that. But again, I can't thank you enough for even sitting here trying to do this in a way that doesn't mar a historic district. We try to keep out the meters, and then to hide them is fantastic as well. So I'm on board with the start of this, and I'm not against that. Maybe we have to, I would hope that we would, if it was a really big question, that we would be consulted before they put something in. I'm not quite sure what you were thinking, but that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, that's all I got.
I mean, if you guys if you want to do something where we do like a site walk, now it's starting to get a little warmer out, we can walk the neighborhoods together or something, if that's helpful. It's just the thing for us too, why we wanted to talk to you guys and get ahead of it, is because the fact, like Amy said, like it's a full infrastructure replacement. So you're doing the entire mains, the services, the meters for like the entire neighborhoods. There's not like one off. And then with the piping, that's what we kind of wanted to talk to you too. So we can, like you said, like we want to be on the same page with everything we're doing. We just also try not to inconvenience the customer. Like, so if we go in there, they take a day off of work, we pick the piping location, then we go back again, once you guys approve it, they got it, they're off again. That's our concern. Then we pipe it, then they're off again, for the time we have to do that tie over, run that service and tile.
I understand.
Yeah.
Some of
the other concern.
Blame on us.
Whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We don't like to blame anybody, but
no, I know it. But you see where I'm kind of trying to draw not a line, just
definitely
a connection between us, that we're looking at the things that may have a better option or not. And if you're sure there's no other option, but to let us know so that we can know it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
there's a couple questions inside.
Yes, it seemed to me that you said that you were actually going to go through and do an assessment of all of the availability with all of these. And then you would know whether they have to be put on the sides or the front. Is that correct?
Well, we can't just you can't just go to the home and look at it from the outside and be like, yeah, we're going to put it there, because you really don't know what the inside location looks like. You know, what the application of the inside the home and the basement is like. If the basement isn't finished and it's wide open, then that gives us a good chance. And then say the outside of the house, right? Like no one's poured like a brand new patio, you know, like $100,000 patio, or no one's, you know, doesn't have a driveway on each side of the home. So you really have no choice. You know what I mean? You're not going to rip up someone's driveway.
But the assessment that you're doing will tell you that. You're going inside the homes, you're making this assessment, so you are going in all of them before you go in and do these? Are you doing them street by street? How are you approaching this to know what the scope of work will be?
So we send out customer letters to the customers who are affected in the neighborhood of this project. And as they call in, then we schedule an appointment and we go out there and we meet with them and kind of pick the location and try to work in that sense. And then once we realize that everything is historic, that's why we're having these meetings now, so we can get ahead of it and, you know, with these locations, know where to put it. And then if, you know, you guys approve or not approve, or we come up with a common place to put it.
I guess so. What I'm saying is, if you go to these locations and you determine that it can be placed in the back, I don't see that we need to see them, but if you determine that they have to be placed in the side of the front, would you then reach out to us?
If that's what you're asking, then we will do that. I could probably tell you most of them. I mean, we can do our best to get in the back, but most of them usually land on the sides. Like a side towards the back, we could, but most of them land on the side. You don't go all the way around to the back, but some you can, but some you can't get there. That's what I'm afraid of. But I mean, we can any way you guys want us to handle it. We're happy to, you know, work together and figure it out.
So, Rick, it's Walter Kroll.
Hey, Walter.
I appreciate you guys coming here. This, just echo, Vinny with that. I really appreciate the partnership and you guys coming to try and make this fit in. So, I live in McKnight. I'm actually on Dartmouth Street.
Okay.
So my suggestion would be, you're gonna get the hang of this after a couple sites. If you guys wanna pick a street, I'd be happy to spend the day with you or however long it takes. Cause after you get to the third or fourth location and we look at it and we see where it could go, kind of what's okay if it's in the back, it's not visible from a public way, you can't do it on the driveway side, okay, let's look on the other side, where can you put it there? You know, after we do 4 or 5 of these on a street, or if you do a whole street, you're gonna kind of know what we're looking at, what kind of eyes we see.
Okay.
Then it's gonna be a whole lot easier for you guys, because you're gonna be looking at it the same way we kind of would. So if we were sitting here with an application and you're already gonna know how we're gonna qualify and where we'd like to see it. And then if there's an exception, you know, okay, this doesn't fit what they're looking for, this is gonna have to go in the front and we'll have to come in.
Yeah, I'd be definitely happy to do that. So I can, you know, Amy, if you wouldn't mind, we can try and set something up and then we can get together and check some of those out. That'd be great.
That'd be great.
I think that's a good idea.
Cause then you'll know.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I would rather know the expectation right up front, you know, than have to, you know, constantly question or worry what we're doing, you know.
Great.
Well, then our staff could.
Great to me.
With the commissioner and be great.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and I'll add, I think that everyone knows here, but all of this work is done at no cost to the customer.
So as the commissioners have said, thank you very much for coming to us in advance.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you for your help.
Okay, thank you. We'll be in touch.
Have a nice night.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.
We have a review of 7 Pine Street. Where we did do a site visit. It is actually different, right?
207.
This,
Then the site visit that we did for the new ones, This is the
This is
the one adjacent to it that we approved in 2002. Right?
2022.
Yes. This is the one to the left of it that we actually had approved back in 2002.
So for those
The yellow.
unaware, Walter, Al and I met to do a site visit for 213 Pine Street, which were two duplexes that were approved last year. And while we were there, we saw, or we witnessed or observed, 207 Pine Street. There were a few certificates given out in 2022, I believe. And if I recall, the conversation from the site visit, we just wanted to check in and make sure that they're doing what they said they were going to do. So. This is the building as of June 2024. Good.
No, this is so the new build is to the right of this.
Okay.
Which they're already done. They came to us last year and they're already done. We went and looked at the finished product. This is from June of 2002.
Okay.
This was actually still during COVID and all the review we did. We had several meetings on this, if I remember right, online. It just struck us because this was back in 2022. These other guys came to us. Their stuff's already done.
Yeah, right.
So he's kind of been a work in progress. So we just wanted to check up to see what he was supposed to be building and kind of where he's at in the project. So. I get that right, Andrew?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the windows are black.
The connection was there. It was really cold that day.
Yeah, it was. It was like zero. So.
There was a replacement of the front door. We spoke about the rear porches. But I don't say anything about the front porch. The upper front porch, this was gone. Correct?
Yes, I believe it might have had maybe a frame of some sort when we were there, but it was definitely not complete.
But they have they've laid it out, or it looks like.
It looks like there's gonna be something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but it's
The
not,
door.
but what I'm saying is, it's not on the notice of decision.
Yes.
No. I just remember this being a lot, we talked about a lot of stuff, and that this thing was still not completed, I thought. It would be good for us to check in and see what we had agreed to and what has been done. So that we don't maybe have a problem.
Well, if we compare what we see right now in that photo. The notice of decision said nothing about removing or replacing or reconstructing. Either the upper or the lower front porches. It speaks about stairs. And foundation. And bulkhead, but nothing about the porches that I don't see anymore. Where the railings or the spindles.
In other words, they didn't apply for the much work,
No, there's more work going on than what they applied.
so that's what was there.
Correct. You can see in this.
Removal of front stairs and reconstruction, reduced stairs and right hand doors.
The upper porch door was changed. That panel door. Doing something else. The door, yeah, now has glass and some buttons in it. Yeah. So it's a would be that idea to have someone come in and talk to us.
Okay. And, so based on the photos, I just want to get what we can see. So nothing about the second floor porch door.
Nothing about 7-foot porch tool or the second floor porch.
Yeah.
What about the first floor?
And then there was nothing about the first floor porch, railings, spindles.
And he might have taken it out to replace the foundations, but
No. Not that.
it kind of looks like. Well, we did something because the roof's been done on the porch, but
He may be putting it back
it's
later.
still gonna be good to ask since
Yeah.
that wasn't really part of it. And we see that it's all missing. I just thought it would be a good time to.
So I think it's very good to say, come on down.
Yeah, so second floor, front door, first floor, front door, front door, first floor, porch, railing, spindles. And I'm just gonna keep it somewhat vague and say work including but not limited to, and I'll get it in here.
This is your new application.
And it's, because we know it's a good thing to do. Before, it's something that.
Listen, I've been part of these projects where you do them and you create a bunch of stuff and then. Time goes by and you're on one project and another project, but you have to make decisions based on what the builder says or what's there, then you get to the end and someone says, hey, where'd that wood door come from? What do you mean? Because so much time has gone by, so it's, sometimes it's not nefarious, it's just part of the process.
Right. Then we have this application checklist.
Yeah, so I guess next thing on the agenda is the administrative update, so we broke that in there. So administrative updates. We have the new application that I sent out an email for everyone to look at. If there's no comments, I'd like to start using that as soon as possible. So that way I can start getting better information in our applications. And as we go along, if we need to make changes, that's okay, but this is generally the format that I want to go to, and if there's no, glaring issues, I'll start working and getting this as the application we'll use going forward.
Yeah, I looked at it when you sent, I think it's really very thorough.
We request color photographs for existing conditions.
Yeah, I can throw that in color photo.
Won't put anything here about samples, for example, sample window.
Advanced product specification.
I could put and or sample or something.
Sample.
Yeah,
Peter, did you just create all this yourself, or did you use some of the material that we had put together for suggestions?
it's a lot of hodgepodge stuff, so I did use some of the old applications, some of the stuff in the guidelines, and so I just kind of pulled everything in and centralized everything, and then based on what I've been witnessing and observing.
It's definitely a step up, so nice job. Filling in the blanks and putting all that stuff in there.
Will they be able to type on this?
I'm gonna make it so they will be able to
Download.
Fillable form.
Yep, so you're gonna do that as well.
On the application itself. There's someplace on the front of it that. You can check out whether it's appropriateness, hardship, non-applicability.
So this is the page that you have in your hand on the other side. That's the one that they're gonna check which application they're gonna, I'm putting it all on one. So rather than having.
So this is part of the application.
Yeah, the first page really, that first double page where all the text is like gray, so one page back, that's really just an FYI. Yeah,
I see it now.
so. Yeah, and then, like I said, I'm gonna, instead of having these different applications that all look the same except for what the application is, I'm just gonna throw it all on this and they will go through and check.
So what is the size of this pipe? Right here?
Oh, that size font could probably be increased, but, that's probably a 10.
Yeah, I would suggest.
Can they feel they fill this out online?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a fillable.
Maybe a fillable form, that would be nice. A lot of people's writing, you can't read.
Yeah, that's, I'm gonna try to,
Resemble that, Mark.
I'm gonna try to push it forward.
And the problem with the gray background is that it is harder to read.
Yeah, so I'll,
If you're going to do it, make it really light.
yeah.
Because the whole point is that some of these are bilingual, and
Mhm.
it's just English is not their first language. And
Yeah.
And then some others are just old.
Yeah, and this is why I wanted to bring it to you all, so you can provide suggestions. That's what it's- And the way I have it formatted is that, you know, these are kind of tearaway sheets, so if you're only doing windows, you only need to submit page 3, you don't need to fill out the rest of the applications.
We may have to walk some people.
Yeah, and that's, you know, to be expected, usually they're coming already asking me, so it's very rare that they're
At
filling.
least they have a step by step.
Yeah,
So the only good thing I'm gonna add is if there's a place to put for reference, you know, like where they're applying for window changes or siding changes or carpentry changes, you could have something that said, did you know there's suggestions for window choices on the website with a link? Same thing with solar, like wherever where it says like the whatever section it is, you can reference on our website, so if they wanted to look at what windows have been approved or what we're looking for railings or what we're looking for solar guidelines.
Yeah.
It could just be a little
Yeah.
thing with a link.
Yeah.
So if they're filling it out
See,
and
step.
they wanted the information, like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
They could click on it and they go right to it.
okay, yeah, I can.
Because this is all great, but that was one of the things that we had added in that, if there was a way for them to look at what the standard is.
Yeah.
Then they, because they'd be like, all the contractors tell me, well, what am I supposed to know? They could actually go and look at what's been approved, what is.
Okay, yeah. I can do it.
This is fabulous. Hey, this is like a double meeting. I wanna make sure we get overtime pay on this one.
I just have a few things left here, so no letters.
Is there something included? I'm sorry, is there something included that you can sign off for the contractor to speak for the homeowner? Like add it in there to
We're
something
gonna
like that? Okay,
check if property owner will be in attendance of the at the hearing, if not, correspondence from the property owner. will authorize.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
You can send that to attorney.
Great job.
Oh, do you want me to send it to you?
Yeah, you gotta send it to the attorney.
Yeah.
No, I think you sent it to me and I reviewed it. I just forgot if there was something in there.
Oh, so you forgot, is that what I heard?
Okay, coach, that's enough. That's enough there, coach.
Careful, take you to the mat.
Yeah, so no support letters were issued, like people updating it, 2 non-applicability certificates, the Buckingham Street one, and then I had 142 Thompson Street, which it was repair and maintenance to the front porch, but it was underneath, so they're putting everything back together. And they're installing a rear railing, but you couldn't see it because of a fence in the way. That fence was blocking it. The historic ordinances that are being rewritten should hopefully come soon, hopefully within the next meeting or 2. And then for our next meeting, I have the notice that went out today. It's another big one, so a lot of CPA season, so this is it.
So we do have a roll call for the 20th.
Yeah.
Will we all be here on the 20th? I will. Commissioner Nestor, no, Commissioner Nardi, yes.
I want to check on that on the 20th. We have a meeting.
Commissioner Kroll, possibly yes, so that's 2 so far. Commissioner Walsh, are you still with us?
Nice, yeah, I'm still here. I haven't abandoned you yet.
Will you grant us your your wonderful assistant.
I'll grant you my virtual presence on the 20th, very likely.
How excellent.
AI Walsh.
Or just A.
Almost there, yeah, we'll wait on hearing back from Marissa and then I'll check with Judy. So, yeah, yeah,
That's right. Right.
so that just leaves public out.
All right, and we do have a
One last.
12-second public speak out session.
Are you kidding?
I wish you wouldn't give people so long.
It's been a long enough meeting.
Here, here.
Puts it very succinct.
God bless you.
But without you there, we would be staring at a blank wall.
There you go.
So
And I am something good to look at, right?
it's incredible.
Yes, you are. It's the only reason I'm tuning in.
Do we need to move to the church?
I'll second that, Vinny.
So moved.
Go. Okay.
All in
All those in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Recording.
Good night, people online.